Okay, so we've got a jar working involving 3 people. So I've got the male and the female who are together, and we want to break them apart, and we want to also cause some discord with regards to the stepson. So they're all going into a jar together. I'll move these cards out of the way. So I've got the petition, and I've made quite big dolls. Actually, I don't make them as big as this, but that's the female. We want to move out of the way, and we want to the client really did request that we sort of attack her big time. So I've actually stuffed her with some rotten meat that's gone into the doll itself. And the guy himself that she wants back again, he's not going to be, it's not my intention to harm him. It's just to get them arguing and for him to be completely put off her and to argue with this little guy. So what I'm going to do is put him in straight up. She goes down the ways because we don't want them looking seeing eye to eye. We want them to argue, so we put them in. He's upright, she's down the way, and this guy goes down the way as well. If I can get them all in, of course. And that's our little petition. Right. So what I'm going to do is put some vinegar in this to sour the situation. So I like this dark vinegar, but any vinegar will do. Don't use balsamic because it's too sweet. For my liking, it's too sweet, too sickly, if you know what I mean. It's also quite sticky and sweet, you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm going to put in some, I'll give it a bit of a shake, some war water. That's excellent to get them fighting, etc. Oh, moment. Dog hair and cat hair in tranquil oil so that they're all how can I phrase it? They're not happy and they just don't understand why. They have the feeling that they're just uncomfortable around each other. That's what we want. Chili. That's black salt of the cursed variety. So there's a lot of interest in, I'm trying to focus actually on this, but I'll just say for now, there's a lot of interest in the oils and the powders, etc. So I really need to make some videos as to how these things are made. Some things, I don't really want to go into for the likes of, doom powder and that, because I just have a special way of putting that together, and I'd rather sort of keep that one to myself because these powders can be quite, if they fall into the wrong hands, they can be quite nasty to have around. Anyway, getting back to this, sulfur and some black mustard seeds to cause discord. Okay. Some hate oil. All right. So I always put a chili that has gone off, it's completely rotten, in there because it promotes basically the element of something that's going to spoil, something that's going to go off, and that's what we want. So I've put in 5 little rusted nails and some separation oil. So this will go to Holy Death, Santísima Muerte's altar. I have called on her prior to the video. For anyone that's interested, I can always do another video. It's probably going to be one of my lives coming up as to how I call her. I know I've been over this before, but I'll do it again. So that's on the way. devil's dung. Okay, I need destruction. Where's my destruction powder? It's not far. One moment, please. There we go. Excuse me. That catches me every time. That batch of destruction powder I made was extremely strong, and it catches the back of my throat. This is graveyard dirt. Due to collect some more of that actually soon. That'll be interesting. Okay. Do I have any black precipitation left? No, I'll leave that actually. So that's what I've got at the moment. I'm going to put a tiny little bit of... Oh, 2 seconds. I like to put this in for a little bit of a kick. It's a mixture of sulfur, etc. I'll leave it with you for the moment because I'm going to do a video on that, so I'll come back to that at a later date. What I'm going to do now is top this up with a little bit more vinegar, put in some lemon or lime juice, whatever I have at hand. Not finished yet. I have to actually go downstairs to get that, but what I'm going to do is then close it up and give it a good shake, and I'll be shaking that every day, probably for 3 weeks, and we can see how things go. It will take time. It always takes time. People always say to me, when can I expect results? I can't give you a definitive answer on that, as you already know. I keep saying this. I like to see a significant movement in and around 3 months. Significant movement. But I mean, it could happen sooner, it could happen later. It's just, it depends on the actual situation and the 2 people together and why they're together and are they hanging on for a reason, children, etc. You know what I mean? So the jar itself, I will then deploy. It's highly likely it will go to a cemetery, or there's a few places that I have. There's a crossroads that I use. It's a very negative spot. So a lot of my work-ins go there. They'll never be discovered. Well, I mean, it'll be a long time before they're discovered. But the graveyard, I would expect something like this to go to the graveyard. So I'm going to pop the lid on it, and let's see, what was I going to say? I'm going to come back and do some readings, a reading on the issue, and we can see how things go. So one moment, please. Okay, I'm back. So I wanted to look into the situation of this couple to see how things were actually going at the moment. Center card, the heart. So that's all about love, romance, matters of the heart. I've got the ring. In this case, that's to do with commitment. But beside it, I've got the heart. Not the heart, sorry, the cross. That's discord, that's arguments, fighting, being unsettled, not happy. And I think that's what they're going through at the moment. I think there's a lot of ups and downs, actually more downs than ups with regards to this couple. So I think that's where they're at the moment. I'm pretty certain of it, actually. They've got the child and the scythe. So I think something's going to come in the future, in the near future, and it's just going to be very abrupt. So whether it's a separation or that child, that can mean being naive. It can mean an actual child itself. But something that is going to be very, very abrupt with regards to the whole situation. So, it's interesting. I'm thinking along the lines of, I wonder, is it something to do with the little guy I put into the jar? I wonder, does he play a part in this with regards to actual breakdown of things, which would, I'd have to look into it a lot more to be certain, but I'm only speculating that the child could mean someone that's quite young, or could just mean behavior that is that of a childishness, or you know what I mean, or being naive. So whether he's staying with her because of just being simply a naive person, I think something's going to happen that's going to take them unawares, if that makes sense, or her. I have a feeling he's going to do something that's going to be very abrupt. So I would be very interested to know in the near future what comes out of that. So I've looked at a few of these little answer deck oracle cards. So they, as you know, they get straight to the point. So the first one is confusion, and then we've got journey. So the journey doesn't have to be a journey, like a holiday. It can be a spiritual journey. So you could be going through all of this because of it's just the way it's laid out for you. Sometimes we go through these journeys just to get us to a better place. And then we've got barrier. And then we've got challenge. And then we've got spiritual. It's interesting. I've said before, this card, when I have witchcraft on, or whatever you want to call it, spells, magic, this card is popping up a lot of, with regards to the clients. So it's interesting. I have to stop saying interesting. I'm saying that a lot lately. Good news. Peace. Followed by victory. So that's what you want. That's what you want. And I did pull these. Now, these are specifically for you again. They're like little messages. Some of them are prayers. This deck is a really lovely deck. If I figure out what the name is, I will let you know if anyone's interested, of course. And they're very personalized little messages. So the first one is, the universe works fast when I'm having fun. You probably can't see them. They're not that, there's not a lot of images on them, but the messages are there, and that's the main thing. So my interpretation of that would be, go about living your life. Forget about the spell, and everything will come together, especially when you're having fun and living your life. And then we've got, my vibes speak louder than my words. Yeah, so I try to tell people to remain positive, because you'll draw in positive situations. Attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. That's an interesting one. Very interesting. I'm saying interesting again. Oh, it gets so late, excuse me. Okay, thank you, universe, for helping me see beyond the limits of fear. Thank you for expanding my perceptions so that I can see what is of the highest good. Okay, so I'll let you have a little think about the cards. So we do have good cards with regards to their situation. I'm definitely pleased with that, for certain. I also think you'll be hearing something good with regards to him soon. I'm getting that feeling that you're going to have some sort of communication with him. But, see how it goes. Let me know if anything changes, if there's any updates or anything along those lines. Do let me know. For everyone else, I will be in touch. Getting videos out left, right, and centre this week. It's been a busy time. I have a few bits and pieces to go up on YouTube here as well, and I send out videos privately. So please understand, it's very time consuming. But rest assured, especially with the moon phases and stuff. So please understand that. To fit a 15-minute video, 20-minute video, turns into art for me sometimes with my uploads, my edits. And then I've got the actual work itself. So please, please bear that in mind. I will get in touch with everyone very soon. I'm going to go through all my list of people just to double check. So I want to get the videos sorted very, very soon. What else was I going to say? Yeah, I still have the go live to make a date for the go live. That will be soon. I just need a microphone because sound is a problem. I'm very aware of that. So that's what I have for now. It's thehouseofmagick@gmail.com, and that's about it. So have a good evening.